what are the important things to keep in mind while making a resume? Nicholas, sir, we can start from.
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's a standard question. So, writing a resume is the first thing that company sees about a candidate. Well, there is a template that is provided by the campus. You can follow that, but it's just the headings and subheaders that you can get from the template. But what you write is that should hit hard to company. Uh, Example, companies go by the numbers. Like if you mention, I have worked on GraphQL, I've made an app regarding that uh, in a 1 or 2 lines paragraph, then this might not give recruiters or the one who is screening a resume a good impression on you. Companies looks at numbers. Like if you mention that uh, my app was visited by X numbers, like for suppose 100 people or 500 people in a day, and it will scale up to 5 million people if I add these kind of stacks in it additionally. So these are things that you should keep in mind when you write a resume. Mm, yeah, that is the most important thing I found out in my journey. Yeah. Uh,
Thank you. Vivek, sir, if you can add something.
So yeah, so I will say to keep it means to keep all the details in a page and focus on the topics. I will say just means if you know you are good at means you are looking for a Java means you are proficient in Java, then you can underline like in project if you have worked on multi-threading concept, the concept that are really in demand or means that are means not common, not that common, you can underline those things, and yeah, this enhance your resume to a greater extent, I would say. Keep it short, keep it of one page, and yeah, Nicholas mentioned that means quantify it, uh, not only write yeah I have done this and this, just quantify it, it will be very good for you. Yeah.
Disha, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so try to keep it in one page. Like my resume was 1.5, but I wouldn't then I actually got try to make a one page resume. Try to use like one line. Don't like when you are explaining your projects, try to mention the results in bold and all, and obviously the numbers, like I think they have mentioned before about that, and try to write it in one line. Don't take it to another line and describe it in a very lengthy manner, and just mention the results really well, like what did you achieve, and write about the exposure also. There's always one section in the italic. uh, at the end you can write what all tech stacks, what all frameworks did you use, and that will help to, I think, help the HRs and or whosoever is looking at your resume to uh, figure out which profile you can work on easily.
Sanjay, sir.
Okay. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
So will you please repeat the question? I joined it late.
How to write a resume for SD profile and what are the important things to keep in mind while making a resume?
Okay, fine. While writing a resume, there are many points from as per IIT BHU provided our basic structure of resume on the TPU website. So in the skill section, you can write three subsections. Like first is language, second is your tools and technology, third is your area of interest. This is general trend. Okay. So you can cover the as per your interest. Then the most important part for LT is projects, internship and projects. Okay, like your mentor or your interviewer never look down the project, like what is your POR and what is your extracurricular and these achievements, they never matter. Like most of the time they don't, they didn't matter. Okay, so what is the main point is that project that matters a lot. So for project, you need to keep something in your mind. First of the thing is that there should be symmetry in your resume. Okay, like you can take it as many points of your resume, like many points of your project goes to the end of the line, and many points end at the mid of the line. Okay, so the sentence length or bullet point length should be the same. Okay, uh, and another point is that the number of bullet points in all the projects should be exact same, or one or zero line, like there must be one or zero line difference. My whole point is that your resume should look technical. Okay, so like uh, it should look like the interviewer should feel that like you made your resume on some basic technical format, like on some basic technical fundamental, like fixed length, only fixed words, or fixed technical terms. Or while writing project, there's a few technique. I adapt the technique which is like in first few points. Like in first point, you can elaborate about your project. Okay, in next 2 or 3 points, you can discuss your tech stacks, like which technology you use and what it results. And in the last point, you can tell your reach, like how much audience do you reach. Okay, so this is, and in the end you can write exposure. So this is the basic criteria by which I wrote my resume, I wrote my projects. And like most of the your resume should be covered by your project. Like this create a big impression on the interviewer and everyone who look at your resume. So that is the point. If any doubt, then you can ask.
Okay, thank you. We move on
Yeah, that's very informative. Thank you, everyone. So let's get into the second question. So the common query is, so what is the difficulty level of the placement test? Like, are they easy, or are they moderate, or are they difficult, or are they very, very difficult? So how much in-depth knowledge is required to clear these exams? So I would request Nicholas sir to answer this first.
Well, that depends on the company. Most of the companies might vary between medium to hard in lead code. Uh, People do on lead code, and some companies go up to hard level of lead code. But that depends on the company. Yeah.
Okay. So how was your exams when you were writing for Amazon?
Uh, yeah, at Amazon, it was medium level. The online assessment was medium level.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So I request Vishal Kumar sir to answer this.
it, sir.
Vishal sir, are you there?
I think, sir, you are muted.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's proceed with another. Desha ma'am. Desha ma'am, are you there? Okay. So Sanjul sir, it's to you. Can you explain us this?
Okay, so the question is about difficulty level of the test pattern. Am I right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so most of the time it is totally based on lead code contest. You might have given lead code contest many a time. Some companies like that focus very much on your like coding skill or focus very much on competitive programming like coordination and like Sprinkler also and Google, and there are like 3 or 4 companies like which focus very much on coding. So they ask very difficult questions. They ask like lead code hard questions only, or lead code medium questions. One lead code medium or two lead code hard. This type of pattern they follow. Okay, but most of the companies like they only ask like two medium lead code and one lead code hard. This is the common pattern. So like if you can like fight lead code contest, like you can do all the 4 questions in regular contest, then it will be easy for you to do all the questions.
Okay. Okay. So, Vishal sir and Disha ma'am, are you there?
Yeah,
If you could
this I had
answer
some
this.
network issue. She
Hello.
answered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now
Yeah,
it's
Disha, ma'am.
okay. Yeah. So can you just repeat the question? Sorry, I
So,
couldn't hear
like,
that.
what is the difficulty level of the placement questions, and how much in-depth knowledge is required, to clear these exams?
See, like telling about my preparation, I usually used to do questions on lead code. So it's like from comparing from the lead code platform, medium and hard level difficulty questions are usually asked. Some companies prefer asking one easy question, two medium question, or one hard question. Like if there are 4 questions, some companies ask three, so it's usually like one medium, two medium, and one hard, or sometimes like one easy or two medium. So it's usually moderate to hard. Some companies, like if you talk about few day one companies, they their test is really difficult. So for that you need to have a good grasp over hard questions. But I think talking about medium difficulty of lead code questions, I think that will help majorly to pass all the tests. That was my experience.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And Vishal sir, uh, yeah, that's fine. Let's proceed to the next question. Over to you, Yash.
Okay. So, what to focus more upon in these last 2 months of the placement preparation? Like, and what are the interview preparation tips for someone who doesn't have an internship or who has not done an internship? Vivek sir, we can start from you.
So yeah, if you have not done internship, then you can select one project, as I have mentioned earlier. That means select some concepts that are very important. Like for Java, it is multi-threading. For ML, you can choose NLP. But for ST, don't choose ML project. So you can search for online projects. There are GitHub projects also that are available. You can means just have a look at some low-level design videos. There are many YouTube channels, and just get a hands-on on them and extend that project, and you can mention those projects in your resume. You can just highlight the concepts that you have went through. If you are not aware of some concept, don't mention in the project. Just say I don't know, or you can say I have not worked on this area. But whatever you mention in that project, try to mention some concepts or something. uh, just explain it, means read it in detail, not just 1 2 lines, but read it in detail. The most important thing will be your exam, to clear the exam first. Yeah, after you clear the exam, then only resume matters in the placement. So you can means first prepare for this, then once you have cleared, then you can prepare for your project. If you don't have project, or if you have a project, then you can just means enhance it. Just see what is being asked, what is that you can add and enhance it, so that they will know that you have a good grip over the concepts of the required tech stack which you have worked on. So this you can do.
Sanju sir, can add something.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So, look, most of the students in everywhere, they don't have internship. Very few people get internship. So, like you can go for your own project, and or there is an option of summer project under any of the professor. But I will say that to go for your own project and like do some project by your own and like write it in place of internship or like do some internship under any startup. Okay, like you can manage it by yourself, but the point is that like it never matters, like most of the time it doesn't matter like in which company you have done your internship. Your project matters and your grip upon the project matters. Sometimes like it creates a good impression that you did internship at good company, so you must have done hard work in your past. Like it create impression sometimes, but like most of the time your current skill, your current position in the is your skill set, your domain, it matters. Okay, so don't worry if you don't have internship. Just be confident on what you do.
Deshana?
So I completely agree with what Sanjul has said, that it doesn't matter a lot whether you had an internship via on campus or you did a project and all. So all you need is a good project and that you do have a knowledge about it. That whenever the interviewer wants to discuss, you do have it. You can discuss the project and you do can answer his questions. So it's it's not a matter to worry that you did not get an intern. You can do a project under a professor, or you can do your own project also. Like just be sure that you know your project really well, and you can present it in the present present it in mean you can describe and explain it in front of your interviewer.
Okay, thank you. Declare, sir.
Yeah, in the last few months before placement season, I would suggest do not stop DSA. Like some of my friends back then used to only prepare for interview and they stopped doing DSA, but don't do that. And second thing is you have to know your stuff right. You are mentioning in plus one to all of them who speak just before me, and you have to know your stuff very well. As in, if you're mentioning about some project, suppose you have done your project in Spring Boot, so interviewer might cross question you, why have you chosen this particular tech stack, why not Node.js? Then you have to defend yourself, because these are the trade-offs I've taken for that. uh, and it is absolutely okay to not have an internship, but even it is a small project, know your stuff well. If you read bunch of interview experiences, and this is a very important point, read a bunch lot of interview experiences in GFG, or you get in placement side too. Read them and you'll get an idea of what kind of questions are being asked in an interview and which round gets what kind of difficulty. Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll move on to the next question. Deepti.
Yeah. So yeah, firstly, I really apologize, Vivek sir. So I actually mistook your name with Vishal. I would like to ask you this. So does CPI and branch matters,
Uh,
Vivek sir?
yeah, it's not a problem. Yeah. So no, means CPI matters. So there is a minimum criteria for companies. Like 8 CGPA is something. If you have, then none of the companies, I think, you will miss. And 7.5 is there for means some of the companies as well. Most of the company, I would say, at in 2019 I was placed, so it has been 3 years. So I would say at my time it was 80% of the company was having 7.5 as criteria, and 8 CGPA was means 100%. But yeah, some it matters in company like some profile like R&D. So CGPA there it matters most. Uh, there they preferred those having nine pointers and something. Other than that, and those are only 1-2 companies. So other than that, there was no such criteria. And branch, see, branch only matters when they ask you to sit for exam. So many companies do not allow other than means for electrical ones, till electrical most of the companies are open. This is again, this is in contrast to 2019. After that, uh, means, so these are also I would say 10 to 15 companies that are only restricted to electricals, and apart from that, all companies are open to all branches. So once you cleared the exam, it doesn't matter. Now you are there, and the interviewer is there, and the all things depends on the your discussion and everything. So yeah, I would say this is what it is. And one thing, if you have lower grade, right, lower pointers, then also you should continue your preparation. So the online campus is one thing. You can get some companies, means let's say your dream company has a 8 CGPA, so you are not getting placement. But after this, right, means once you have prepared, let's say you have 6 months of experience in some company, and then thereafter that you can apply, and after that CGPA doesn't matter at all. So don't hesitate, keep on preparing. And yeah, it is very easy to switch also. Just it's a matter of time. So keep on preparing, you will get placed.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek sir. Then I would like to proceed with Nicholas sir.
Yeah, huge plus one to what Vivek said. Like it doesn't matter if you have low CGPA or you are not from electrical, electronics, and CSE, because I'm from ceramic, and if I could crack Amazon, then anyone could. So you don't mix such things in your mind. You just go on preparing. It's on company. They put limitations about CGPA or branch, but forget that and just prepare. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Then Sanjul sir.
Okay, so like my point is that it matters only up to very like little extent. You can say that some companies only open for electrical and CS. Some companies open only for CSE, EC. Uh, Till there, this thing matters. Like if you uh, if you pass your test, if you got shortlisted, then like it doesn't matter a lot. Okay. CPI, for CPI also, like you can say that if there is very like equal competition between two candidates, like you have all the things equal, then the CPI comes into the center. Like then you will decide on CPI. Till then, like CPI does not matter. But the thing is that if you have edge on other candidates over other topics, other skills, over the main skills, then these things doesn't matter. But if you are like have same skill set as others, as like other as circuital branch guy, or as like high CPI guy, then like you can have disadvantage. But if you have edge over them, then like it doesn't, what I think.
Okay, thank you. Then Risha ma'am. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, so I think all the three other panelists have covered this point really well. So there is slightly some companies prefer circuital branches more, but again the count is like three, four, like based on what I saw last year. So obviously you have a lot of opportunities even if you are from non-circuital branches. And like uh, and Sanjay also mentioned that even if you have a low CG, if you have good projects, if you have good tech stacks and skills in your resume, you can obviously have an edge over a student who has a good CG but still doesn't have those. So if it depends like how you make your resume, and it depends upon how what you have done apart from your curriculum. So if you do not have a good CG, so Still, if a good project, it can be as good as a good CG and not a good project. So it doesn't matter really. And and there is always an option of switching if you do not get into your dream company. After once you get placed, the CG doesn't matter. So you always can switch easily into your dream company, and I think that will help.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So we can overall conclude that CPI and branch does matter, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, great. Uh, so yeah, over to you, Yash.
Okay, so yeah, my next question is, there is the placement procedure and the placement season is quite hectic. So, how to tackle this pressure cooker like situation during placements, and how to stay positive during this time? And so, Disha ma'am, we can start with you this first.
See, I'm not sure you guys are going to be, I think, in campus. We were at home during our
Yes,
placement prep.
this
So yeah,
it will be off.
yeah. So the things are going to be a bit different for you. So for us, this was my experience that initially I started alone. I completed my DSA preparation with alone, but after that, Sanjul and I we had a group and we used to study together. At least the CS subjects we used to study together. So that kept me motivating. That even if I can't understand anything or if I'm having doubts, so that kept me motivated. I could reach out to their group and ask for doubts and all. So I think in your case, you guys have to attend your classes and projects like in off campus. So that would be really different what we did. But yeah, but there is like a point obviously that's same for all. It's not just that you have to go and others are staying and coding whole day or something. So yeah, you can obviously like reach out to people. Some people will get PPO, some people will those people can definitely uh, like be a help to the others. If they can't understand anything, just reach out to them and help each other. And obviously there are in my view, when I used to code on LeetCode and all, so the discuss section is really good. Like at times I used to write a code and later on realize that the time complexity is not that good. It won't work on some edge cases. So I used to read that a lot, and people do explain that them really on those sections really nicely, like why we think that way. And if you guys see on the lead code solution also, it's always on step by step. They start with the very base case. They start with the very first solution that one can think of, and then they later on build. So these things kept me motivated. Not like, at least when I faced doubts, I could usually see these things and uh, tackle all that and motivated. So obviously talk to your friends a lot and see motivational videos sometimes on YouTube, like that. That's what I used to do. So you can obviously check those things out, and that's it.
Sanjul sir.
Okay, so these are covered a lot of points. I want to say that there is a list of things that will keep you motivated. One is hold hands of your group. Like make first of all find a group like which is of which most of the members have the same skill set or have the same level of skill as you do. Okay. Then keep discussing the things between your group and we used to complete our CS fundamentals in the group itself. We divided the videos of YouTube channel among ourselves, and we 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 5 to 6 people started teaching each other. Like 10 videos, one person will watch from YouTube, then he will teach to all group. The next 10 to other. So this kind of techniques you can use, or like you can find many techniques by your own. First thing is this. Second is your self progress will be motivation. Okay. like how much you will like how progress you will do, like you will solve daily new questions, like you will get motivation. You will solve daily 2 or 3 hard questions, you will get motivation, like yes, I cracked it, I solved it. So this is your motivation, this is your self motivation. Third is of like dreaming. Dreaming is motivation, yes, of dreaming a big company or dreaming the life ahead the placement session. It is also a good motivation. Fourth is talk to your seniors. Your seniors, like most of the time, like we in the ground. During the time we are on the ground, like we just forgot, like we just missed something. Like, we are like it become hectic for us, and sometimes we don't observe what is going or what is going in front of us, and what all the things that are going in front of us. We missed a few things. So our senior helped, like my senior helped me many a times. Like I know all the things, but like I was just missing. Like I'm not seeing that particular thing. So he helped me. He guided me. Like this is the thing you are missing. Senior is also a big help in keeping yourself motivated. So these are the things, 4 things.
Thank you so much. It was really insightful. Nicholas, sir.
Yeah, like most of the points are covered. Make a group, talk to your parents, talk to your seniors, and prepare a list of things that you are going to do in these time. Like in there are 3 months left for placement season. What you're going to cover in first month and what is your plan for other things. Then keep on checking those. Then you'll feel motivated.
So, Vivek Raj, sir.
Yes. So, means preparation wise, all of them has covered the points that make a group and you can do all that. But one thing keep in mind that this placement rate is not means the whole picture, right? So apart from this, you can means as I said, you can always switch and you can always keep on preparing. You can keep on applying. Even you have got 6 months after placement that you can use for preparation. Let's say if you have not achieved. So what happens? Your friend got placed in a company that you wish for, right? And you was not selected due to some reasons or something. Then this pressure, this means the environment, offline environment, as in 2019, it was offline for me as well. So the pressure starts mounting. I have seen everyone breaking to an extent they start crying also. So this happens, but keep in mind the whole picture, not just that this placement is the whole thing. If you are looking for getting a good job, good thing, it will always means if you have worked hard, if you know the DSA, so it will you will get placed eventually in a good company for sure. This is 100%. But what is the extent of time? Just this is the question, and this will depends on sometimes in the placement also, sometimes luck also plays some role. So this all things happens. That means you will not just, if you will keep this thing in your mind that you will eventually get placed there, then yeah, you will the pressure will be less and you will also be able to perform better. So this will be.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, even I want to add on that. Like if your
Yes.
friends get placed before you, then don't feel dejected because they are going to give you referrals after that. Placement season is just rolling dice. Like just think on the other side of the interview. Like the interviewers takes 30 plus interviews on a single day, then you can't really think what's going on their mind. So you never know what happens. If you are prepared at right amount, then even after 2 months of joining any company, you can switch to other companies. Yeah, my friend, like he worked as TPR for 3 years at IIT BHU. He said you'll get placed 50% less than your capability at placements. So just keep that in mind, but don't get dejected or something. If you're not placed in day one, day two, or day three, don't feel bad.
insightful and helpful. Over to you. We take the next
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Let's get into one technical question. So it's to you, Sanjal sir. First, let's start with you. Other than DSA, have to prepare for CS fundamentals like OS, OOPS, DBMS, SQL, networking, etc. So, especially for those MCQs which were asked in the test, so have to prepare for that.
Okay. So for MCQs, if you have completed theory like by your best of your efforts, then most of the MCQs you will do of OS and DBMS. Okay. In DBMS itself, there is a section that is SQL. So for SQL, you need to do practice on HackerRank. After going through the videos of theory, you need to go to HackerRank or any other platform. So you need to have a little practice. Then it doesn't take a lot of time. So very little practice need. And for OOPS, object oriented programming system, like if you read the theory, then it will be very easy. Like you will never got the point. You will never you feel that it is very easy. But it is like very deep topic, and if your interviewer's favorite topic is OOPS, then like it will create a big difficulty for you. In my internship interview, I had 1 hour 30-minute interview on OOPS. Before that, I never thought that OOPS can be asked at that much time. So like OOPS is very in like topic is such a topic that we need to read in depth. Okay, so for OOPS you must have you must practice MCQs from GMC. Okay, after practicing hundreds of MCQs, you will get the idea like how much difficult it is, and you will get many depth questions that you will never know if you read only the theory. So, and for computer network, if you have time, so you can go for it. But if you don't have time, then leave it. It is not that much important. And theory is sufficient for computer network.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, sir. So I think Kritika, your question is answered. You asked that what is asked in DBMS and is in SQL a must. So sir answered this, and let's get in next. Vivek, sir, please add your experience into this.
So I will say that means the company that you get selected for means in the DSA round, just go through the interview experience of those, whether they ask or not. This is important, right? So sometimes let's say if you have read OS, so some interviews like they will also ask you to code the concepts, right? Means different kind of concepts that they're in OS, and they will ask you to code that as well, like Nutanix. Sometimes it does that. So based on your company, you can prepare. Networking is not that important, but uh, for some of them, I mean, it does for some of the companies. We can't say that it is not important. It does, but whatever you have mentioned in your CV, if you are able to explain it in detail, and if you show that yeah, you have done thorough research and you have very good command of it, then that is also suffice. You should means have a understanding of DBMS and this OS at least to some extent, if not in detail. If you but try to grasp it and do the questions as mentioned by Sanjul, that do the questions. So yeah, that is important. And for oops, yeah, do means do a lot of questions, not some questions. The concepts are really important for that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Vivek, sir. Uh, Tisha, ma'am, please add on this.
I guess they've covered all the things that was really important. So yes, I did not study computer networks a lot. Like I just went through some basic concepts, and I think that was sufficient. Like because the companies I was aiming for didn't really ask lot on about computer networks. So yeah, again, that you always have a platform through TPC and obviously on GMC where you can see what is all asked in the interviews or in the placement test. So if your dream company does ask, so you should like I think you are in July, so you should start preparing for this for those topics. And if it's not as really like in a like computer networks, in my view, was not something that was asked a lot in many companies. So I try to skip it, and but it is not advice, it is not something that I advise. It was due to that I was not having enough time. I had to study other topics. So, so again, that was my preference. And for rest, like SQL, really you need practice because I remember this year many companies did ask, and oops is also really important, and operating systems also. Once you complete your theory, should start practicing questions. Shouldn't miss initially I was in dilemma whether I should do questions or I should do DSA prep again or my DSA revision again. But I think it is advisable. It doesn't take a lot of time once you complete your theory. So after completing the theory, just please do take out the time and do the questions on GMC or any other site that you feel comfortable with. And I think that will help a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Disha, ma'am. Then, Nicholas, sir, please add your experience on this.
Yeah, like solving questions helps, and one of my experience in JP Morgan is like interviewer had a mock project and he wanted me to build tables and schemas for that. So they might ask you these kind of questions, or they might make modifications in your current projects you have mentioned in your resume, and explain about DBMS or OOPS or any concepts. For in exam point of view, you can solve questions on GFG.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Over to Yash.
So our next question is LeetCode enough for online placement test? It is already answered. Like, most of the points are covered, but still, we can take it as a separate one. Sanju, sir.
Okay. So look, it depends on like what time you started your coding. So if you started 6 to 8 months before the placement test, or like in December or after October to December, so you can go for code courses first to have some hands-on experience in coding. But just before 5 to 6 months before, I advise you to move completely on lead code, because in placement test, only a few company ask competitive programming. That is like we did on code courses. But on lead code, we only focus on our DSA part. So most of the companies, I can say that I don't have any data, but I can say that 95% of the companies only ask DSA. So like lead code is enough. And I will say that focus to complete all the 4 portions of contest regularly, and you will get in your dream company. That is my
Nicholas, sir.
Uh, Lead code is sufficient to for problem solving if you are solving it for the first time. If you have already solved it in another platform like HackerRank or GFG, then I wouldn't suggest you to solve same questions in lead code. Try new questions. And in the last month, like in November, I would recommend to solve interview bit, because it helps you to revise a lot of concepts because it is segregated in a nice way in that platform. Yeah.
Disha, ma'am.
Yeah. So it whether you should just do lead code or not, it really depends where are you at your preparation, where in which phase you are. If you have completed all your topics and like all your DSA concepts are clear, you just want to solve questions. So then you can definitely try out. I feel that you can start giving contests, whether on Code Forces or any other platform you want. And if you are not done with your concepts and all, like you are still not very sure what exactly, like whether I should try DFS or BFS, still you get confused in that. Then I think for like clearing your concepts, you can definitely keep on trying on LeetCode, try different level questions, and you'll be like I think more comfortable with that. And as the panelists earlier mentioned that for revision and for if you are at like just a month left, then I think interview bit is a very good platform to just revise your concepts. It's a way like the each question is a timed is actually timed, so you know that how fast do you reach to the appropriate approach, and how fast you can code. So I think it is a very good platform. I personally did it. Like I think the interview test for me started in end September, sort of, or mainly in mid October. So I think in mid August I completely switched from lead code to interview bit, and that was just for the revision part because I was comfortable that I had completed most of the topics and most like all the topics nearly, and then interview bit just helped me to revise all the concepts at last.
Vivek Raj, sir.
Yes, as mentioned, right? Lead code for topics, it is good. From my experience, it is very good if you have not covered all the topics. So you can target that. Also, for interview preparations, you can always look up to the question that has been asked, and you can just sort it out on lead code and practice it accordingly, um, according to the means questions that the company asks. But the two things matters the most, right? In the exam, one is time. In the given time, you have to solve three questions, means three or to four questions. The company asks in the written test first, and second is interview. So interview ones mostly you will get the questions directly from lead code. That is what I have observed. uh, but for written tests, new questions come, new question appear. So uh, rather than doing question topic by topic, you should also focus on doing it in a particular means duration, 30 minutes, or you let's say 45 minutes. If not, you are able to do it in 30 minutes with one hint, with more hints. You should try to minimize these times, and this will automatically happens if you start giving a lot of tests. And for me, what helped me was means I was having 6 months of preparation. So what helped me the most was code forces. For code forces, I didn't do lead code much, but I did code forces, and there is ladder, right? So there
Yes.
is one coding junior seat, something like that. So that seat helped me in preparing, and in that seat you have to also mention how much time it has taken, which approach you took, and this all means you just keep a data entry like something. So you can do with the lead code questions as well. How much time you are taking, if you are improving or not. But yeah, if you have only 2 months, 3 months, then you should do only lead code and interview it. That I will say. But yeah, do give tests. That is very important.
This was very helpful. Deepti, over to the next question.
I would like
Uh,
to add
Yes, sure.
add something on previous question. Like if you segregate problems on topics and solve them, then you might be clueless uh, if the same question comes in exam. Like you just pick random questions and try to solve them. That's my advice.
Yes, yes.
Like if you predetermine the type of question, whether to write it in graphs or strings or something, then it will be difficult for you to think upon new questions.
Because in the test, like a question is asked which we do not know, like in what topic will it be solved, or what logic will be.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I
So
would like to add on that also that Like you can use like if you miss a test or you have not given that contest, you should visit the previous conducted. I think in LeetCode and I think on all other platforms also you can go back and do a previous test, and you can use like either do it, you can time it yourself, and because that's the best, like that is actually how a contest or a placement test is conducted. Like you have three or four questions, one is of more easy level and other two are going to be of difficult or moderate level, whatever. So that will give you a good preparation, like, and you'll get to know where do you exactly stand with your preparation.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. So let's get into the next question. Let's start with Nicholas, sir. So, from your experience, would you like to suggest us some most crucial or important points for the preparation of interviews?
Uh, yeah, like most of the points are covered. Like uh, prepare, stop, do not stop preparing for DSA, and uh, prepare for OS, DBMS, and core concepts of CS, and read a lot of interview experiences, and read job description of every company that you are attending. And if you if you have time, then you can make resume according to that. And yeah, know your project very well, like trade-offs you are taken in by using the specific tech stack. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Disha, ma'am.
So for the interviews, like usually the test with your all placement test will be over by 15th November. That was in our case. So we had kind of 10 to 15 days for like with the ensigns, obviously ensigns was there, and with the ensigns you had to prepare for the interview. So obviously DSA is the main thing you have to, and at that point you should just focus on lead code because interview questions are actually sometimes directly from the lead code and or either a modification of that. So you should do that in and like study your resume really well. Like it should not be a case that you are asked something from your resume which was exactly there and you couldn't answer it. It is not like this is something that is a very negative point in your interview. Even though you are very good in your coding and all, you wrote a very good code and all. But still, resume should not be a negative point. And another thing, like I used to give a lot of mock interviews in that duration from 15 till my Google. Google was my first company. In whose inter which with Google was my first interview. So I used to give a lot of mock interviews. But again, it is a personal like you want to do or not. That's your choice. So for us, there were some seniors assigned who like so I used to ask like whenever they were available, I used to give an interviews. So that helped me like that because interviews are a bit different from the test according to me because usually in a test there are three four questions you can't if you can't crack one you can go to another and then try that out. But in interviews generally what happens is like they give you a question and other questions are also built up on that, like that what happened with me in Google and all. So you have to be so there is a different way of like you can't skip that question and ask the interviewer to give another or anything. You have to just keep on trying and that. And there is always a certain way to communicate also in an interview while writing your approach, while explaining it, because you can't just use any random variables and because there is like you have to use good variables, you have to be like you have to keep on speaking while you're writing the code, explaining your approach and everything. So I think at least give a mock interview. You can either contact your you can either take off like you can either contact your friends, like you can take one interview of his and you can ask him to take your like that way, or either you can there are platforms also, I think, not sure whether it's free or not, it's paid or not. Or otherwise, you can definitely ask your seniors. Like at least one interview is good. Or if you get or if you are able to give many, then it's really nice.
So Google is your first interview, and you got sorted in your first interview.
Yeah, in placements, yeah, that was my first. So yeah,
Wow,
so
that was amazing, ma'am. Yeah. So next, I would like to ask Sanjil sir. So what tips do you give to all your juniors about this?
So for interviews in IT, we have three type of interviews. One is your coding round, and majorly three type. It is not necessary that all three type of interview will be taken by a company, but majorly DSA round. Second is your resume round. Third is HR round. So you have to focus, like you can divide your preparation for interviews in these three parts. First of all, there should not be any single point in your resume that create doubt on you. Okay, so you should be very confident, like what you wrote on your resume. You should be very confident, like it is your expertise. This type of confidence you should have. Or if you don't have this type of confidence, then you should have like another plan B. Like what will you do if you can't answer this question, or if you can't answer the question in this area, in this particular area of your project. So you should prepare yourself before that. Okay. For DSA round, like it won't be that much uh, burden to you, because you have already passed a lot of tests, or you have already been through a lot of tests. And next is HR round. This is all about communication. So like start talking English just 10 days before placement to your friends. Like it will be not difficult to crack. But the major thing is that two or three advice that I got from my senior is, first is think out loud. During your interviews, like what you are thinking, like there should not be awkward silence or silence in your interview. Like interviewers should know what you are thinking, how your mind works, how you approach the problem, what is your way of approaching. So interviewer should, like interview happen only for this, like interviewer want to see only your this kind of skills, like how you approach problem. Okay, so you should think out loud. And second is, uh, you can ask about the hints. Like if you get stuck totally, like interview is there for your help only. Like he took his time, and company investing his employee in like interview process, so they want to help us, like they are totally for help us. So we can ask hint to for them, like sometimes they want to see, like if you get stuck in very difficult situation and you got a very little hint, then what will your reaction, like how will you tackle. So this kind of reaction also is they want to see. And for just write a simple one para intro of yourself, that tell us about yourself, the famous interview question you will be go through in all the process. Tell me about yourself, why should we hire you, like why do you want, like how where you see in next 5 years. So this kind of question you can prepare according to the the company that shortlisted you. You can visit the company website and you can check how mindset, like what mindset people work in that company, what is company achieving, like aiming for. So this you can do.
Yeah. So very informational. Thank you, sir. Then Vivek, sir.
Yeah, so they have mentioned most of the points. So I would say take a interview. Interviews means you're thinking there is an interviewer that is trying to test you, rather than approach it like a conversation. Don't approach it like an interview. So if you both have a good time, right? They are also taking interview after interview. So if they will feel good, while taking your interview, then the feedback will be good. So take it like this. And also first, whatever mentioned in resume, you should know each and everything. Means if you don't know one of the concepts, just remove it. You don't have to have a very long resume or a very long list of points. This is not required. Whatever is mentioned, you should know first of all. And for DSA also, as mentioned, think out loud. Means, let's say, means, there can be a scenario that the question being asked you have just seen this morning, right? This can happen. In that scenario, you have both approaches with you. You can just say that I have seen this, I know the solution. So they will say, means, come direct to the solution and explain me the solution. They will move next to other question. Or you can pretend that, yeah, means you are solving this, then you can approach it, means step by step. Step one, you can give brute force, then you can improve that solution. And so approach every question like this. So you should give, means, the first thought you can give that, yeah, this is my brute force solution. If nothing is coming to your mind, right, then you should explain that this can be improved through, let's say, DP. So why DP? So why DP? You should explain why I will be using DP. So this point you should, means, just having a conversation, right? You are approaching a question. That's it, yeah. And don't take much of a pressure, and just go there. And yeah, give
Yeah,
mock interview, that is necessary. I would say so, because you will error somewhere here and there initially in 1 2 interviews. So rather than give mock interviews first, so that will help you.
yeah, thank you so much, sir. So, Vivek sir gave us a golden rule. Approach it like a conversation. Thank you, sir. Yeah, over to you, yes.
So yeah, the next question is quite common, and most of the people have this doubt. How important are the communication skills, and does fluency in English make an impact in interviews? Vivek Raj sir, you can answer this question.
I would say no. This doesn't matter at all. Means, so as someone mentioned, right? You are also asked question like, "Tell me about yourself, explain me." So different persons have different approaches. Some go prepared, some doesn't go prepared. They just, means, the fundamental is you are having a good conversation. Sometimes it happens that you are not comfortable in English. The interviewer will himself say, we can have a conversation in Hindi as well. So yeah, it does matter to an extent, but not entirely. Means, it is not the basis that you will be get chosen. So this is what my experience is.
Sanjay sir.
Okay, communication matters a lot. It depends, like how, like what mindset of your interviewer is. If we want, like if we only want to focus on technical skill, then it will be okay. You can explain it in Hindi or you can explain it in English. Most of the time, you can say that, okay, explain it in Hindi if you feel difficulty in English. But it is any like sometimes focus very much on the communication skills, like Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs. Like they focus very much on like communication skills, how you communicate, like you will be communicating to your clients. So there it is important, and like it is very fundamental rule. How how much knowledge do you have? It matters only when you can communicate it with your interviewer. Okay, like if you are not able to communicate it with your interviewer, then uh, it is big disadvantage to you. So like just try to explain, like you can tackle this kind of situation with your friends, like try to explain, yeah, each and every point to your friend as you are explaining in interview. This is the point.
Deshana.
So yeah, Sanjul mentioned that communication skills, yeah, it is some, like at points you can say it's company dependent also. Like few companies do give a lot of like Like they do give a lot of weightage on how you are communicating your approach. But yeah, you can always figure out other ways. Like see, if you are not comfortable in English, you can obviously tell that to your interviewer. uh, like if he says you can communicate in Hindi, still you can use other ways. Like you can like if it's a binary tree, so instead of communicating in just language and not drawing, use something to draw. Like you can draw a tree and then figure, like explain it on step by step. Either you can, when while communicating your approach, you can use a test case. You can write down the test case at the side of the code somewhere, so that things gets easier. Like you have to figure out ways, and I think that you can figure out once you give a mock interview. Because like you will try to explain it to your friend or whosoever you are giving the interview to. If they are like, and at that at last you can take a feedback whether that person exactly got what you were trying to say. So at like if you are able to cross all these things, that you are able to explain your approach and everything, then the communication, whether it was done in Hindi, English, or any other thing, language, doesn't matter. But yes, for few companies, like we can like as he mentioned, Goldman Sachs or Wells Fargo, it might cause an issue to you. But again, if you are able to explain what you're trying to write in your code, then I think it won't affect your result.
Nikhilesh.
Okay.
Yeah, like communication skills are not important, but communicating is important. Is whether you do it in English or Hindi. You just treat your interviewer as your teammate because he's hiring for being you as a teammate for them. So just communicate what's in your mind to them. If they are satisfied, then it is well and good. You just have to uh, speak out loud and say what's going on on your mind.
Okay, over to Dipti.
Yeah, so let's get into the next question. So, is there any need to study system designs? Let's start with you, sir, Nicholas, sir.
Well, in my experience, I haven't faced any system design questions. In the industry outside campus placements, for SDE tools, system design questions are asked. I don't think so for campus placements, system design questions are being asked for any company. Yeah, but you can still learn them as your interest, because system design is a thing you'll be going to do when you get into a company.
Okay. Vivek, sir, have you ever got
Uh,
a need?
they don't ask generally. So there is system design. There is two things you can divide it into: low level design and high level design. So low level design is means they can means at entry level they can just ask sometimes that let's say they've established that database management system, so normalization and all that, then they can just ask you to draft some tables, means object relational mapping that they can ask sometimes. So it is just like you have to means have a database tables that you may have to design. This comes at entry level. And for means high level design, they can just ask you if means how, means when you type a request on your web, how it travels. That's it. Nothing more than that. Means you should know just that it hits the DNS, and that's all. If you are not of CS branch, means if you are of CS branch, then you must be knowing, right? But apart from that, means other branches, just you can just have a look at it, just how it travels. That's it. I don't think they ask much more on this. Yeah.
Okay. Sanjul, sir.
Okay, so I will say I will never say no to anything. Like if you have time, if you have any like motivation for reading this, you can go for it. But thing is that practicality is that like I only remember one company or two company, I guess. One is Atlassian. So that company demanded system design in his interview, like in its interview, like there is a particular system design done, but like you have to like you have to give direction to your efforts. Like you should not give effort in all the direction. Just give effort only in the direction that will give you very much output. Okay, so that's why I will say, okay, you can skip system design. Or also, like I heard it from my seniors that design is something that you learn while practicing, that you learn while doing software developing in the big firms or any startup. Like it is not something that you can understand from theory. But if you are brilliant, then sure, go for it. But if you are like on the average, or if you feel that there are many other areas that can be worked upon, so then don't go for it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Disha ma'am.
So yes, as Sanjul mentioned that there were two companies. So I also remember that there were Atlassian and I don't remember the other one who said that they might ask system design questions. And so you see, again, it depends like how much time do you have, if and how much interest do you have. If you have interest, if you have time, you have prepared other things. You can go through some things. You can go through some of the basics. If you do not, you can definitely skip it. I wouldn't recommend that like you are taking out time specially for this. And again, if see again, like always there is like if Atlassian was your dream company, for my case it wasn't. So for someone who has who know that this is where they want to go, and the company asks that, they can figure out a time and they can then study according to that. But it is not a necessity. I would say that it's not a necessity, and that because like out of three or like 200 or 300 company, two companies are giving preference. So obviously there are other companies you can sit for. So at a like like a new graduate level, like a person who is just graduating from college, that it is not required.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, Yash.
Yeah, so now we come to the end of the session with the last question, and after that we will take up questions from the audience. So, audience, you can type your questions in the chat, and I will take them after this. So, in the meanwhile, the last question is the what is the necessity for advanced data structures, and how frequently they are asked. Sanju sir, you can start.
Okay, so for advanced data structure, like
Yeah,
try,
just a minute. Like segment tree, Fenwick tree, DSU,
yeah,
these types.
yeah, yeah. So for advanced data structure like try, segment tree, Fenwick tree, like you can go for then like I can say that most of the companies, like most of the day slot zero companies, many times ask these topics, or in other companies also ask these topics, but they are not that frequent. They are frequent only on the slot zero, and not all for all slot zero. Startups in slot zero, we can say that. Okay, a startup or a small company in slot zero, they generally focus on these kind of topics. But I will say that go for them, like read the topics. Like they are not that difficult. They are, yeah. Once you practice 4 to 5 questions of these topics, you will understand them easily. And, like, it is not that big deal.
Disha ma'am?
See, last year in my view, segment tree was asked by many in the sense like 10 to 15 companies, you say. So I think if you have time at the last, first I think you should focus on completing all the other topics, which are the most common thing, most common topics like trees, graphs, everything, DP, greedy algorithms, everything. And after that, like I started studying segment trees. Like my test, my most of the tests started around 15th October, the companies which I was applying for. So I started it like from 1st October. studied like few articles from GFG or HackerOt, and I practiced those questions. So see, if these questions are asked now, these questions are really straightforward. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, these questions are really straightforward. So it's always a plus advantage that if you have studied these topics, you can directly write that code and get an edge over the people who haven't studied. So if you have time, this is always the last option, last thing to do. This is always the last prep to do, like segmentary or try or any other thing that you feel like. Some people did study red, black tree and all that stuff. There was one company, I think it was one, I don't remember the name exactly, but there was one company that asked a question in it. So obviously the person who had studied had an advantage. So at last, if you have time, you should study instead of just wasting time and doing the same questions again and again. You can study new topics, and otherwise, like see, always there was always like after the test, whenever we used to discuss how do you did the question and all. So there was always few people who did a segmentary question without using segmentary and using some other concept. So if you are really good in those concepts, you do not have to worry. But if you like, you can't think in that complexity, like you can't think that complex questions in very like in a very timed test, then you should go through. Like I would suggest that I studied segmentary because of that thing only. That I could not think of the very that complex solution in just 1 hour or in just half an hour and complete the code also. So that was so when I got to know that there are questions from segmentary, I just figure out a time and I studied that. And there was a question on try in my Google interview itself, so that helped me. So like you have to figure out how you are with your preparation. If you can do a complex question really well without using these data structures and all, you can do it easily. Or otherwise, you feel like you should know these concepts, you can do it at the last stage of your preparation. Once you are done with your CS, I would say CS subjects should be done before, and then these topics should be done after that. That's it from
Nikhil,
my
sir.
side.
Thank you, ma'am. Nikhil, sir.
Yeah, if you have time, you can definitely look into advanced data structures, try and segmentary. There are some questions I solved in placement season with segmentary. It helps you save time for other questions. If there are three questions, you can solve using segmentary. As Disha mentioned, they are pretty straightforward. So you can quickly jump onto other questions, but that's very okay if you are not going too deep into those data structures. And for interview purpose, you can just have a glance at these data structures. And if at all a question comes, uh, you can just say, I've had interest on these data structures, and you can just tell the interviewer your approach.
Okay. Vivek, sir.
Yeah, for some of the companies, it is important segmentary, DSU, try. So and sometimes KMP they ask. So these things as, but those questions are straightforward. I will say just means the company that you are appearing for, right? And just search through what questions they asked, and if you find that the segmentary is being asked, then only you can prepare for that. And this is how you can target these topics. Means, let's say you are appearing for Google, then I think segmentary will be a must to watch out for. So this is how you can target, means rather than just going through all the topics, all the advanced data structure topics.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So yeah, I can see the questions in the chat box are answered. If you have any more questions, then you can type it. We will wait for 2 minutes, and then we can end this. You can also unmute and ask the questions. There is no problem. Yeah, so we have one question. Any one of the panel members can answer it. Like Mr. Siddharth Prakash, he is asking like he is in first year, and so should he start with ML or with development?
Okay, so Siddharth Prakash, I also asked this question from my senior when I was in first year. What should I do for placement? So I was said to explore. So I will say you the same, explore, and like if explore your interest. If you want to read ML or web development, like just go and check like what is ML, what is web development, and then decide what you want to do. Like you have a lot of time in first if you are in first year. Don't worry. Like don't think like what should I do or what should I not do. You can do anything. It is totally dependent to you. It is totally specific to you. So just find out.
I think that answers your question.
I would like to add a point that
Yes, yes,
if you are exploring topics, right, don't waste means just try it out, just practice your hands on. Means if you are interested in, let's say, ML or development, you should practice rather than just going through researching. Just practice something, just go through, means you should work, don't just keep on thinking. So sometimes it happens you procrastinate, you neither start ML neither start development, and the first year is over. So this should not happen. You should just take care of this, other than you can explore. Yeah.
Like you should start doing small projects, like whichever field you want to go, you want to start with. Start doing small projects, and then you'll be able to figure out whichever field you want to go yourself.
okay, so yeah, with this, we officially end this session, and I would request the audience to fill the feedback form. And I extend a very warm thank you to all our panel members, and we would like to present the e-mementos to all of you as a gratitude. Nikhilesh sir
Thank you,
and
guys.
Vivek Raj sir,
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Sanjul Kumar sir,
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes.
and Dishama.
Thank you so much, and all the best, everyone.
Yeah, thank you,
And
guys.
Yeah.
moreover, I want to add the point like we have prepared these guidelines on our website like Team QC. Like we have collected all the documents that we had in our time for all the fields like analyst, HD, and also the product management. So you can go and check if you have any doubt. You can check the well documented guidelines there. teamqc.com.
Sure, sir. Sir, you can type in the chat box.
Okay, okay. Okay. So you can check the career section of this site. Okay. Like you will have many guidelines or many well-framed guidelines that are vetted from the past years.
Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone, and I wish you everyone a very nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
All.
inviting. All the best
Thank you,
to
panelists.
everyone
Thank
who
you,
is
panelists.
appearing for placement.
Best of luck. Everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone, for taking out your time and sharing those valuable guidelines with all of us. Yeah, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to host. Yeah, we
Yes.
can end the session.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, bye, Sanjul sir. Bye, Nicholas sir.